All right, for transparency, I want to make sure this is clear to YouTube and Facebook, where this also be recorded. This is a fish oil egg um, pill. That's what this is. I use. It's not. I'm not promoting drugs. This is just fish oil. This is for comedic purposes in a skit that I'm gonna do next. This is a fish oil. Okay, Facebook and YouTube. Not promoting drugs. All right. Understand it. This is basically for comedy purposes and entertainment purposes. All right. With that said, let's continue with the show. Let's go. Welcome to the show. It's Project Open Mic. Let's get the show off right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here with me. Cause it's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. Let's get the topic straight. Let's get things good. Let's do everything that we should. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. Let's open our minds and take out our style. Let's see what's going on in the world tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off. Tonight, I'll be doing straight no chasers, but I just want to do a simple program. The Matrix has been very popular with the scene, of course, blue pill and red pill. That's your choices. But, and I'm not a part of the black pills because that's its own craziness. But there's another pill. There's all colors of pill. But there's one that's healthy for you because people say if you take the red pill, you will go down see how far the rabbit hole goes. Really? The red pill don't show you how far the rabbit hole goes. But maybe the gold pill does. Maybe this will show you how corrupt, how messed up the situation is. Well, guys, how about you guys take it with me and let's see how deep this rabbit hole really goes. Because right now, as that veil got pulled back by a person I should not mention because a lot of people don't like the person, but he pulled back the curtains and he showed how bad it really is at the top. You guys might remember this. This is a video that's on our channel called Joe Biden Wins. And the question mark is not because if Joe Biden wins. The question mark is that I was not surprised. But I want to play this to you again because I want to show you all the industries all the things that came together to take one man out of office. And you're gonna see how tightly knit all these industries is as we go through this video.
Together, and you guys did it for our administration, the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
You heard right. You heard what Joe Biden said, fraud. Anyway, he's correct, because you got the Hollywood industry, movies, the things they program in there just to make you feel with the feelings and not facts. But, you know, movies now have become social justice stuff, which is just despicable now. I can't watch movies as much as I want, and that's why the industry is dying. Then you have also the TV industry. They program your little kids, and they program you, the sitcoms and all this stuff. We don't. People used to talk about how we ain't got no black shows like that. Talk to the industry about that. The music industry. I am in the music industry. TT Records. We've been doing music for a while, but to see what the celebrities have done to each other, to Ice Cube, to 50 Cent, to Lil Wayne, and many more, that you cannot do. You gotta think the same way. So like black music, I don't care for it no more how it is, because you gotta think down the same path. Radio industry. I used to have Radio T3. I used to have 9.84 million concurrent listeners listen to my show, but because I wanted to talk about the certain topics in Project Over Mike, they did not re-up me for my next contract. So it is what it is. Politicians, not only the Democrats, don't get me wrong, a lot of Republicans, but the fake pussy-ass Republicans who cannot do what they want to do. They want to get Trump out because he's cleaning the swamp, because they want to make their money. Let's not forget the academics. Oh man, they reprogram these college kids. You spend thousands and thousands in college for them to teach you to be a special snowflake and not to be an individual. And they come back and they regurgitate all this nonsense about color and stuff, the most racist and most insensitive things they say, even though they think they're a part of it. The streaming online, don't even get me started on that, because like I said, a friend of mine was at my house. We were watching Hulu, and a Joe Biden ad came on, and it repeated itself 6 times. 6 times the same ad. And I was like, he was like, really? This is crazy. And he's not a Trump supporter, so he just, for him to say that was like I was like, maybe I want to go to something else. But that's how we're going with the online streaming. Then you have the tech giants. Amazon, of course, they're banning books and stuff if you think a certain way. Apple don't want to play certain things. Google, of course, on YouTube's Googling and out catering your search, so you don't search out certain things. Facebook keeps people in their bubble. That's just what it is. That's what these tech giants do. They have not much power to block you and censor you out, so you don't get nothing else. And talk about social media giants. Don't forget your Twitter and your Vimeo and your YouTube, which is owned by Google, and they also block and manage and shadow ban a lot of people's views. Kind of weird how that works out, but hey, that's what the game they want to play, right? The news media, don't even get me started about it. They go with Amazon. Amazon owns Washington Post. And then look what happened with New York Times. New York Times just kicked out mostly all of their centrists. All the centrists. It's mostly just a left organization paper. Sometimes they had to bring it back like this, the 1619 Project, because it was garbage. But hey, they do have a little thing. But let's not talk about the media itself. How much lies, how much time they twist the truth, how time they overdo stuff. And they soft pedal a lot of stuff for Biden, but not for the president. So it's kind of weird, as you saw in the second debate in the town hall meetings and everything. And again, remember, 94% of the people, even Fox News, 90% of people who vote from the news media vote Democrat. So it's just weird how that situation works. But again, you got all those people behind your sales. You get all those people behind him. The Oscars, the Oscars, the Emmys, all these, the Grammys. I always say I wanted a Grammy. I don't want it no more, because if I got to sell my soul to get to this point, I don't care no more. And I like you. Basically, I'm going to let a person say what I want to say more better than I can say. But like I said, celebrities have fallen down in my eyes in 2020. Thank goodness. I never really idolized them, but I kind of respect them. But I got to separate the art from the artist now, because a lot of these people are the most garbage people I've ever seen. And they turn each other. If you have a different opinion that's not your test, they turn on you like crazy. So I don't like that in that regard. But you know what? We'll see how it works out. November 3rd, we'll see what happens. But you know what? Like I said, I won't be surprised Joe Biden wins because he has so much this stuff behind him to win. Not surprising. And to me, I'm gonna let Ricky Gervais say exactly what I said to these celebrities because you guys have become basically a piece of garbage to me. So Ricky, take it away.
Oh, Apple roared into the TV game with a morning show, a superb drama, yeah. A superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China. So, well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, I mean, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and fuck off, okay? So...
Yeah. That little scene was something I put together because of what I stated. Now, in Project Open Mic, episode 27, the credit put the tube back into the toothpaste back into the tube. I have explained about the GameStop and how the short sale and everything, and you should go and check out there because I use a person who is a legal expert and a tax expert to explain it. I will put a link in the description so you can go back to that video and a timestamp so you can watch that part of the video if you need to understand what's going on. As he explains it better than anybody else that I've seen. But most people's caught on to what it goes now. But right now, if you just saw all those people did everything to get this one man out, you don't think those same people are going to come together to keep the one that they wanted in? Change the narrative, change the news, change the lines, change everything they can so you can do it. Well, let's see how deep this thing goes. As I told you in past videos, that President Biden is putting in people who was already corrupted from before Trump got in. But again, I'm a small. I only get an average. I'm talking about all the things combined. And on YouTube, I don't get a lot of views, and Facebook, I get about 40. But if I combine everything, I get about 36 with Tempo FM, Tempo.fm with who's watching what I'm doing. And with that said, let's go down the rabbit hole a little bit more deeper. What I'm about to show you is, remember, the billionaires was getting shorted. The billionaires were getting shorted. So they were losing their money. They bet on the stock, they're losing money. So now, here MSNBC, CNBC, sorry, CNBC. These people are the ones who say we don't want regulations, but because now they're losing their shirts because regular people are hurting billionaires, and these are the same billionaires who basically caused the 2008 market crash, and none of them went to jail. Let me put it back to me. None of them went to jail. And the housing market crash was created by President Clinton. Bush let it go because his Republican friends was making money off of it.
And Obama did a cleanup by giving them same people who crashed the market bailout money. While you and I had to work regular jobs to pay for these bastards to keep on making their money. They make billions of dollars, we get hit. People lost their jobs, people lost their stores, people lost their companies, but these guys made out like bandits. And you know what? And let me give a reason why I say they made out like bandits. A good example of a person who literally I'm going to explain, like I said, let's go MSNBC. I mean, keep on saying that, CNBC. MSNBC was doing the same thing too, so don't even get me wrong with that. But CNBC, this is what they did.
We're talking about is maybe misinformation and pump and dumps, and it's occurring on social media again. It just, I'm wondering whether it's part of the same problem, the type of regulation that we finally need to consider. And like I said, we should always have a light touch with regulation, but you're seeing the way things can get started. Again, this is different. Maybe it's Reddit, maybe it's not Facebook, but you're seeing the same situation. At this point, it's not about an election. It's not about an insurrection, but there are interesting things happening that seem to be spawned to some extent, or at least blown out of proportion by social media again, Adina.
Well, I do think, though, that as we look at these new technologies that are there available to everyone, including investors, I think it's also important for regulators to understand that, you know, manipulation is manipulation, whether it's happening through a new technology medium or it's happening through traditional mail. So I think it's just a matter of making sure that we understand what the behavior is, what's underpinning the behavior, and working appropriately with the regulators to manage the situation.
Okay. I want to see if you guys picked up something in that little this one. It's for the manipulation, but when the big fat cats, the elites, do it, they don't go to jail. Nothing happens to them, and the politicians bail them out. But I want you to listen to a word that this guy said that had me think because of how he said Reddit.
Seem to be spawned to some extent, or at least blown out of proportion by social media again, Adina.
Well,
an insurrection, but there are interesting things happening that seem to be spawned to some extent. The same situation. At this point, it's not about an election. It's not about an insurrection, but things can get started again. This is different. Maybe it's Reddit. Maybe it's not Facebook. But
that's what I was trying to get to. Hear what he said? Maybe it's Reddit. Maybe it's not Facebook. Why would he say that? Because a lot of people, the Facebook and Twitter, YouTube, Google are the big heads, and he knows how they could. He knows they can manipulate it to do what they want him to do, and you'll see what I'm talking about with that same situation when about how Facebook is. But like I said, they don't say nothing about it. The billionaires who's been doing this. Here's an example of that same billionaires.
Precipitating events of that drop. Guess what? At the exact same time, interview sparked a panic sell on Wall Street. It is seen in retrospect as one of the precipitating events of that drop. Guess what? At the exact same time, right after that interview, Ackman was buying billions of dollars in the stock as it hit rock bottom. In fact, he pocketed $2 billion in bets against the market as it was crashing. It was a crash that he helped spawn through his influence, through his media appearance. Call me when the SEC and the media and others actually get upset about that. When Ackman got some bad press, but he still got billions in the bank.
I agree with him, and that's another point. When they do it, nothing happens. But when the regular people are doing this, now everybody's in ire. And let's tangle this weave a little bit more. All right. Robin Hood, basically was the app that started this because they wanted to make investments, and come to find out that Robinhood stopped people from buying the stock, but they wanted you to sell the stock. Wow. Okay. You wanted to sell the stock, but you can't buy it. That's kind of because they think that, oh, these people don't know what they're doing. No, they know what they're doing. And again, it hurts the elites on Wall Street that the Main Street people are attacking them now. So it's kind of weird that they did that, right? But remember I said about the whole Facebook thing? Well, listen in.
Executive orders on areas that we as a company really care quite deeply about.
But there has been quite a lot of disquiet expressed by many leaders around the world, from the president of Mexico to Alexander Navalny in Russia and Chancellor Angela Merkel and others, saying, well, this shows that private companies have got too much power and they should be only making these decisions in a way that is framed by democratically agreed rules. We agree with that. We agree with that. Mark will be very clear about that, that ideally we wouldn't be taking these decisions on our own. We would be taking these decisions in line with and in conformity with democratically agreed rules and principles. And at the moment, those democratically agreed rules don't exist.
Of course, they don't exist, and that was a conversation between Mark Zuckerberg and one of his lead Facebook head, Nick Click, head of global affairs of Facebook. Of course, they don't exist because in your eyes they don't exist, so they could stop your power. But we want to take care of this. Now I'm gonna keep on playing because here's a funny part. I remember I said in Project Open Mic show, I said that it's weird that 4 people from Facebook, 4 people from Twitter, 2 from Amazon are part of Joe Biden's administration. And it's because they want to change the rules to benefit them. So I'll let this go a little further.
Fourth quarter earnings call with investors last week, Zuckerberg confirmed what I've been telling you, that he wants the Democrat-controlled Congress to amend Section 230 of the Communication Decency Act, mandating social media platforms to censor or moderate, as he says, misinformation and hate speech. Now, if you're wondering why he would want a law mandating what his site has to take down and what's not allowed, it's because he'll consult with the government to create that law. And it'll be the exact same policies that they have now, but the Facebook policies will become law. And what that'll do is it'll just bankrupt other free speech platforms like Gab, BitChute, Rumble, Parler, and others, because then the law will be selectively enforced. When the government finds certain posts that violate the law, then they'll just fine them into bankruptcy. I told you after Trump lost the...
So, just to point out that point, it's going to get a very, very interesting. Because these people just do not have the capacity to let the little small things that bubbles up that could disrupt their apple cart. No. And again, Democrats and Republicans are both a part of this. This is just not only a democratic thing. But as we've been saying, they are going to make sure that these things go down a certain rabbit hole. And with that said, I want to introduce another one. So if you go back to the video, like I said, Project Open Mic 27, they asked Jen Psaki, the secretary of press secretary, about what's going on. And the first thing she said was, she couldn't answer it. All she said was, I would love to remind you that we have a first female financial. And I was like, oh, I hate that. I literally do hate that. You know why I don't like that? Because as I said before, I'll say it again. Just because a woman, I should say, first woman, first black woman, first black this, first black man, I don't care about that stuff. That's not important. Because if the white man was stealing my money, what do I care for the first black trans doing the exact same thing? They're still doing the same problem that nobody likes. But just because they are a black woman, I should share that you're stealing my money from my pocket? That is kind of weird to me. Very weird. But Janet Yellen, first woman, blah, blah, blah. And I say that with no disrespect, but yeah. She's the head of this thing. She's supposed to look into this, right? Well, what did we find out about Miss Janet Yellen? Let's continue this rabbit hole.
House Press Secretary Jen Psaki was asked about this 2 days ago. She said Janet Yellen is monitoring the situation. Oh, well, it turns out, and let's throw this up there on the screen, that Janet Yellen was actually paid $800,000 from Citadel, which is a hedge fund which has received, or which has paid a lot of funds, millions of dollars, to Robinhood. It's actually one of Robinhood's main customers. And if there's one thing, a good thing that I think can try and come out of this is I hope people take away, when Robinhood is free for you to use, you are not the customer, you are the user, the product that they sell to Wall Street.
Yes.
The way that this works is that they take your trading data, they sell it to the hedge funds, people like Citadel. Citadel gets to front run your trades and sell it back to you for microtransactions, which add up to hundreds of millions of dollars, aka screwing you.
It's a model of exploitation, basically.
Essentially, it's stealing, but it's legal because they have more money than you and me, and they get to regulate the SEC in however they would want to. Now, this seems like a pretty obvious conflict of interest. In fact, so much of a conflict of interest that Kenneth Vogel over at the New York Times points out that Janet Yellen should, according to her ethics disclosure, not be allowed to even look at any matter concerning Citadel for a full year after the payment of that fee. But here's what the White House press secretary had to say when she was questioned on it.
You did mention, I believe, yesterday that the Treasury Secretary is monitoring the situation and she's kind of on top of it. There have been some kind of concerns about her previous engagements with Citadel and speaking fees that she has received from Citadel. Are there any plans to have her recuse herself from advising the president on GameStop and the whole Robinhood situation?
Well, just to be clear, what I said was that we have the Treasury Secretary is now confirmed. Obviously, we have a broad economic team. The SEC put out a statement yesterday that I referred to, but I don't think I have anything more for you on it, other than to say, separate from the GameStop issue, the Secretary of Treasury is one of the world-renowned experts on markets, on the economy. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone she was paid to give her perspective and advice before she came into office.
Yeah, shouldn't be surprised that a hedge fund pays $800,000 to the former Federal Reserve Chairman in order to advise a hedge fund who all they do is leech value off of you and me in the marketplace. That's their entire function. That's what I want people to understand here. And yeah, so look, does Janet Yellen have a stake here in Robinhood? No, probably not. But it's just it's just another example of people in power who have links to the people at the top and dramatically undermines public confidence in our regulators and in our system, and specifically because of this. Did she really need the $800,000 from that speech? I don't think so.
And I don't think so either. But you just hear how that situation go out.
Just don't.
There's also this concept of being a public servant,
yes,
which these people seem to think means that they're like entitled to cash in to the tune of millions and millions of dollars off of their quote unquote service. There's so much to say about this. First of all, that response just makes me want to scream. Oh, she's an expert and she deserves it, so don't worry about it. It also harkens back to when Psaki was first asked about the whole GameStop issue. Her response was, first of all, I'll remind you we have the first female Treasury Secretary.
That's right.
And by the way, I have no comment. How is that relevant?
Thank you. And I said it at the time too. How is that relevant? But come on. Let's go further down to this rabbit hole, shall we? So remember, the elites, you guys can't get, us regular folks can't get certain money, of course, because that's just not how it works at all. It doesn't. But they can go and get all this help because they have what we call friends with benefits. It's best if they just really just sleep with them because it's just despicable. It literally is despicable. It is bad. They don't care about nothing. They want to get their money. They get their money. They move on. And then you make you think, wait a minute, hold up. What is really going on there? That's kind of unfair. That's kind of messed up. But that's how the rules are played. So with that, let's go another thing. Remember I said how this deep this tentacle go? I want to play you a little thing from, remember, the media. This is the media now, right? Not only does the media has this thing, now late night comedians, Hollywood. This is how Hollywood takes care of that situation.
GameStop, if you don't know, it's a video game store. And like a lot of businesses, they've been struggling because of COVID, but also because most people buy games online now. And yet, despite a sharp decline in sales, over the past 6 months, their stock price has grown by 8,000% because a bunch of amateur investors, maybe even some Russian disruptors who are part of a Reddit community called Wall Street Bets, decided to buy a bunch of GameStop stock and drive the price up and screw over the hedge fund guys, maybe even some Russian disruptors.
Yeah. That's what you heard, and I'm happy he pointed out because I want to talk about this too. You hear how he talks. So there you go. Hollywood has gotten in and trying to say, oh, you guys don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. Okay. The CEO of Reddit, of course, because they got their hands in his butthole as well, too. So he gets out and he calls them these daily activist S-heads, as he described the people who mess with the GameStop stuff, as you can see, investors. That's what he calls them, because he don't want to lose his money as well too. So of course the CEO will say that. Am I surprised? No, I am not. Because I know how deep this rabbit hole goes. But remember, they could come on and say all kind of stuff about you. All right. But we can't get that kind of situation. But let's go again. How deep this tentacle could go again? Now, Google and Apple, basically on the App Store, have taken away negative reviews because they can, and that because their buddies call in the favors.
Pissed off at Robinhood, rightly so, and so they start writing negative reviews. 100,000 negative reviews, 1-star rating. Google drops in and says, oh, we're going to delete all those negative reviews and make sure that you can keep your pristine rating. Like, once again, just a direct conspiracy between this cabal to protect people who are already wealthy and powerful.
What drives me crazy about this?
So you have that, which is all already messed up. Another thing that killed me is, where is it? Remember, you should not make money on stuff like this. I played this in my video already, but the politicians.
Dianne Feinstein didn't report her husband's stock purchase in a timely manner, says that she is willing to pay a fine over that failure. And a move Speaker Pelosi made is also sounding some alarms. Pelosi or her husband bought $1 million worth of Tesla stock. Now, here's the catch. She is working to pass Biden's clean energy initiatives, which includes subsidies for electric cars. So she now stands to potentially directly benefit.
Interesting. Do we smell some conflict of interest here? Democratic strategy.
And so you hear how that works out. So they can make money. And again, Dianne Feinstein is 87 years old. Why she needs to make all these millions of dollars at that age, I don't know. These how greedy these people are corrupted at. And she's already done, I said before, she's already on file for running in the Senate again at age 90. And a Senate term is 6 years. But you see, Google gets in there and takes up all the stuff that they have and make sure that you, little people, cannot get what you want, which is kind of devious. How that Apple's a part of that too. Like I said, don't think it's just Google. Apple's the other one as well too. They both do it. But so you have the media, you have the Hollywood, but then you again. Here's how the news media also. I'll play Tim Pool as you expect, because now they are trying to trick you from making your decision. And here I'll play Tim Pool as he is. I don't got a Twitter page. I don't have all like I said stuff like personal to go check this out. But listen to what's happening, how the media is trying to get people to do.
Rallying as online trading movement fuels the rise of shares like GameStop takes a shine to the precious metal. Really? The Redditors are doing this? Here we have CNBC. Silver jumps 11%, the most in 11 years, as Reddit traders try their squeeze play with metal. They are. The Reddit traders are trying their squeeze play with metal. Daily Mail. Reddit traders send silver price to 8-year highs. Precious metal soars 12% as renegade investors pile in to put a squeeze on short sellers. Fake news. It's a lie. I have silver. I have not too much. I have silver. I mean, I think, I've talked about in the past, I think it's good to have some silver, gold, Bitcoin, stuff like that. I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take any advice from me because I don't know. I can't tell you what to do, man. I can tell you how to, work hard, I guess. But I can't tell you about investments because I'll be honest, I'm not particularly good with this stuff. I've lost my decent share of money on certain stocks. So I don't really invest a whole lot in it. Reddit traders send silver price to 8-year high. Here's the story from NBC. Silver is the new GameStop. They say, wow, silver is the new GameStop. We got this from Jim Roberts. He says silver prices jump 11%, and he's putting out the CNBC story. Let's go over to Google. What do we got here? Silver spikes as retail investors swarm. Silver jumps. Silver spikes. Let's see. Silver futures gap. Blah, 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 blah. Silver price. Currently sitting at around $29.41. Oh, it's up, baby. But check this out. Why don't I just go to the actual Wall Street Bets subreddit account, where there are 7.8 million people, 433,000 right now on this Monday morning, actively engaging in this content. What's the first post? The aggressive media campaign to promote silver worldwide at the same time. It's a trap. There is no silver short squeeze happening. None. Never. SEC intern, please read. False media reports about Reddit traders moving into blank as clear market manipulation. Don't listen to them. They're trying to take the focus away from GameStop. It's a screenshot from The Guardian. Redditors set their sights on silver after GameStop frenzy. Complete lies. Stay away from silver. They're trying to divide us. Don't listen. Look at this. Every single post on Wall Street Bets front page is do not buy silver. It's a trick. Please, my friends, tell me, how is it that the media is pumping out all of these stories claiming that Reddit traders are coming for silver, when if you just go to the site where 7.8 million people have already signed up, they are saying do not buy silver? The veil is shattered. The lies are obvious and the desperation is clear. Be it the elections, be it Wall Street, the establishment has lost control, and they lost control some time ago. Maybe it was the internet. I don't know. But it's amazing right now, isn't it? How obvious it is. My friends, please share this with your friends and family. No better example of fake news. No better example. Now, when it came to Donald Trump and when they put out fake news, people would be like, yeah, but Trump is bad. And they'd believe it. And Trump had his problems. Don't get me wrong. So it's kind of easy to believe, to be fair. But right now, the media is telling you something that is so obviously not true. They keep saying it over and over again. Redditors are saying buy silver, so go buy silver. Tell your parents, warn your parents, because they're targeting your parents to strip their money away from them. That's the game. You see, what they want right now is the media is creating a fake narrative about everyone pumping up the value of silver. They are hoping that enough people who are short squeezing these hedge funds are driven by greed and will jump ship and chase after whatever makes them money. And you know what? Unfortunately, it works, at least a little bit so far. Dogecoin, silver, people are buying them. I've seen responses from some people saying, well, why not buy Dogecoin? Because Robinhood froze trading. The machine is rigged against you and it is fighting back. Did you think this would be easy? It's very difficult, especially when you have a leaderless movement. All the attempts to derail this power and focus this energy towards empowering someone else. Wall Street is mad. They're furious. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't believe necessarily.
I'll leave it at that. But I'll as you can see, how far this tentacle goes. It just goes that way. So now, all I can think about is I'll let this finish it off. Let me see if I can find that one. What I'm looking for right here. Integrity. Some people do have it still. So I'll let this, I'll let it play.
All this nonsense, all of this noise, all of this whining by Wall Street, it's making me sick. 140% of GameStop was short. I didn't hear one person on TV complaining about Wall Street trying to crush GameStop. 140% short. I told my subscribers, buy this stock, and they made a fortune. You can't allow Wall Street to short 75% of a stock, and nobody says anything. Crush these companies into the dirt, and then when the individual investor makes money, everyone's up in arms. Some people are going to lose and some are going to win. But if they want to change the rules of the game now because the general public is making money after decades of the shorts crushing thousands of stocks into the dirt. I have watched stocks being crushed completely to zero, and no one ever whispered anything because those stocks didn't have Wall Street sponsorship. They were small names. Maybe they went public through a reverse takeover. Whatever it was, the shorts have had their way with the market for decades. No one's ever complained about it. So I am thrilled. If you were going to try to destroy a company by shorting 140% of its stock, you have to accept the fact that individual investors are playing the same game that you're playing, and now you're losing.
And there you go. I can't, and no better way than that. Thank you, sir. So I'll just end it at that point. This is how far this corruption goes. When the rich, people say rich, with the billionaires, the elites who got connection with politicians, this is what happened. This is what happened. Because they're already on talking about now. Here's the funny part. I was trying to find a video when you saw that. I was skipping. I was trying to find a video and I can't. Now they're trying to put down that if you make a transaction, in anybody makes a low transaction, they want to put out the transaction tax now. So when it was free and you could have no problem, no. But now they want to put, now the White House administration want to put a transaction tax on you trading money in the stock market. And the old saying go, Milton Friedman, tax to stop stuff, subsidize to reward more. And that's what's going on. I just showed you Wall Street. I just showed you big tech. I just showed you the apps, what they've been doing. I just showed you the media of what they're doing. I showed how the connection they have to the politicians and what they're gonna do. Hollywood, what they're making up. TV shows, they're gonna try to make TV shows. I mean, doing a certain narrative as well too. Goes back to that video I showed at the beginning. All these people are connected to rig the system so you don't make money. They keep you down. That's why when I did my video, taxes, the true evil of taxes, where young people, you guys always say, stop the rich, whatever it is, raise the taxes. The politicians say that. But you know who always get hurt? As I stated in a video, you get hurt. Because as you can see how much money Wall Street has to stop this stuff. That's what they do. In that video, I show you that when you raise the taxes, rich people will find a way to make more loopholes and control politicians so they don't have to pay that tax at all. At all. That's why I said the rich will get rich, the poor will still fight for their crumbs, and us as middle class is gonna get screwed over. That's what a lot of people voted back in. Hey, hope everybody's all right with what it is. I saw the swamp was gonna come back, and the swamp came roaming right back to that. So what I'm gonna do is to tell you, work hard, save money the best way you can, find ways to put it in tax deferred accounts and stuff again. And oh yeah, let me not forget, with Joe Biden's tax plan, a lot of people who made a lot of money off of this, you know, you guys gonna learn about the tax, the capital gains tax. Oh, you're gonna learn the hard way, because the government gonna make sure they're gonna get their money. So I hope you're all ready for that when the taxes come next year, when you have to pay the capital gains tax on that. It's gonna suck because it went up on a Joe Biden. It was lower on a Trump, but it went up on Joe Biden is gonna kick it up. Oh well. I know this was a long video. I just wanted to go through the tentacles of all this nonsense. With that said, I'm gonna call it right here. Wish you guys a good night. Hey, this is a straight no chasers in a special degree of a way, but I just wanted to show how far these tentacles get, and you're not one of the tentacles at all. So just remember that. You are not part of it. So, with that said, I wish you all a good night. Remember, people are stupid, individuals smart. Be that smart individual. And I'll catch you guys on the usual schedule show, Project Open Mic on Thursdays, 9 p.m. East Coast time. And we'll talk about what's going on in a week as usual. Peace out.